Welcome to the King Moolah TV podcast. I am King. If you didn't know, welcome. I think I've been my week's been pretty. It's been a little bumpy, sluggish, even I can say, but that's all right because you're gonna have those days. Even when we always try to strive for the best, always try to be the best and do the best that we can, be the best version of ourselves. But we will run into those bumps and those obstacles, but it's how you react to them is what makes it a positive experience or a negative experience. So for this topic today, um I wanted to get into the topic is called women and BHTs. Okay, not BBLs. Although this could be part of this topic. Absolutely, it absolutely can be part of this from a guy's perspective. This is an observation mainly, but it's definitely going to be showing a lot of facts, personal experience, but it's all encompassing in observation, and it's definitely something that is worth of value because it has a lot of good insight, good facts, and it's unbiased, but it's also but it could hurt somebody's feelings just the way that it is presented to you, but it's not meant to do that. Okay, it's for you to listen, it's for you to understand, it's for you to grasp on what's actually going on. So I definitely think I can do that properly without turning people off or anything like that. So let's get into it. So women is just that, women are lovely creatures, our counterparts, and we love them. I love them, at least. I love the women, and when I mean women, I mean real women, not girls pretending to be women, not girls, not women who have girl tendencies. Because there's a difference between a girl and a woman. Girls are still immature. Women are actually mature, understand things. They can go for the things that they want. They can understand, and they can take criticism, and they can take accountability, and they can shape up their actions to get what they want out of life, and they are the best versions of themselves. Okay. Now, let's go to the other side, because these are also females. Yes, I'm going to use the word females. If some people are uncomfortable with that, listen, is what it is. You heard me say women in first, but you are a female species, okay? That is your gender, okay? So, BHTs. Now, what are BHTs? Well, since I don't use profanity, I'm going to explain to you that the BHTs is basically the opposite of real women. Though they come in three categories, so it's an acronym. The B stands for, well, it rhymes with stitches. The H rhymes with pose. And the T rhymes with bots. Okay? So you want to know the differences between them all? I'm going to explain the differences anyways. The differences between these three and why they categorized they have separate categories, but all encompassing, these are the type of females that you really don't want to be encountering. Some people think it's all fun to be toxic, but we'll get into that after that. But let me explain who they are first. The stitches, those are the females who are very rude. They can be career driven or whatever, but they're very rude, they're very masculine. And I don't really like to use masculine and feminine and this, that, and yes, because everybody's got masculine and feminine, and then I just feel like it's overused now. A lot of podcasts are saying that, and they're just like you get it, they're like overusing the word. There's a lot of things being overused in social media in general, but let's focus on this. Okay, so the stitches are the ones who come off very rude, very demanding, and not in a good way. They just all around just very. They could be narcissistic. They're just not. They're just not nice people, but they are career driven. They can be career driven, or they can be very just rude in general. But that's pretty much what it is, rudeness. And they're not and they're usually type of women that can be single because they're just bitter, and they just do not know how to interact with their male counterparts, or they just have a very um negative reaction towards anything that happens with male counterparts, and they're just not willing to accept, like, understanding what it is about that actually triggers them about anything. They just people who kind of just want to avoid it. And people talk about them in the office, how they're their behavior, how they act, but they are career driven, so they're not really the worst out of them. They're just, you can see them coming from a mile away. You just kind of just want to keep conversations short with that. Okay, let's go into a much deeper one. Because it's not really surface level, but well, stitches aren't really surface level, but they're pretty much been covered pretty easy. That's why it's short. Now let's go to the pose. Now the pose are females who, well, who get down. They can be adult content, IG influencers, whatever that they call themselves, IG content creators, whatever, fan service, what you know what I'm talking about. Only. Okay. But that's pretty much, they are very, but they're likable. In many senses they are very likable. You can love to be around them, and this, that, and the other. And they can do some business here and there. Like I said, they do adult content. They're likable people. They can be likable people, but they mainly do it for the love of money. For the love of money. Because they really love money. So that's pretty much why they do the things that they do. Okay. It's mainly for the pursuit of money, and how they like how it makes them feel. They can be there, but in many instances they are likable, but it doesn't show that they're wife quality or anything like that. They're just, they're good. They're short term people. Well, like the Stitch too, they are short term people as well. Now, the last one, the bots. Okay, it rhymes with bots. These ones, they have no self-care or self-control at all. Now they kind of go, some things are hand in hand and similar with them, between them and the pose, but they're a lot worse when it comes to being sexually driven. They're hypersexual. They are, and this could be trauma based. It could be whatever, that they just really like to do that. But they don't really hold any sentimental value when it comes to um just being sex driven. They sleep with whoever, and they don't care who it hurts. These are the type of females you generally should avoid. But people get caught up with them because, well, I don't know. It's a fantasy. It's breaking down. It's like a fantasy for, on one end, for a lot of guys who really just want, and it's because of the society thing. And but it's also just hypersexuality. It could be trauma based, childhood, whatever. But these are the type of girls um who do not attach themselves emotionally to anybody. So they just out there doing whatever that they want, and not really caring about their self-worth, their self-care. They're just doing whatever and however. And a lot of these can be IG influencers, and the way that these IG is set up now, it's like they show these type of women all the time, and it's just like, you don't have no care in the world about how you look, how this would affect you, or how it would even look to you in the future. It's weird how they act just for attention. They are very much attention seekers. They do not care. They are the type that will break a happy home. They will break a happy home just because of who they are. They do not care. Sexually, they're finished kind of, but they do not care. They would have, these are the type of girls that had like 200 guys in their phone, just hitting them up constantly for this, that, and the other. When they gonna link, when we the sneaky link, she's the slinky link. She's the one that she, in the older days, she would have been like a mistress times 10. That's what a bot is, okay? Now I hope, now it does sound similar to a pose, but like I said, pose do this for the love of money. Both of them could be sexually driven, but pose do it for the love of money and stuff like that. They don't really do it because they want to hurt feelings or anything like that. It's mainly business with pose, but these dots, oh, they do not care. It doesn't have to be money. It doesn't have to be anything. It's just do it because they want to make it feel. They are very, very self-centered, and they could be very traumatic and everything that it is. But that's pretty much what it is. The basis of what it is. Now, all those three in the category versus real women. Real women. Like I said, these are the women that understand how the world works. They listen to their man, or they put themselves out there. They don't lie about themselves. They want to find love. They want real healthy relationships. They want a family. They want a marriage. They want kids. They want, the whole nine. They just want somebody to treat them with respect, love, hold them accountable, make sure that they're doing right, make sure that they're evolving and growing in every step of the way. They take criticism seriously because they actually want to do good in life. They don't want to act like, oh, it's all men's fault, and then just don't take no accountability for themselves. These are women who take accountability for themselves. They understand how to get through life. They move cautiously, they move prepared. They want to settle down, they want to have family. Like, they're regular people who actually understand how the world works, and these are the type of women that a lot of guys would say they would look for. Because I know there's a lot of guys that's not really into that for some weird reason, but that's just what it is. These are the women that I love. Okay, these are women, and I get to watch them all the time on my IG social media because I want my algorithm to make sense. I don't want me to keep out of touch with the other side, with those other three, because I know they're out there and I can't just be out here thinking that they don't exist. And I mean, I don't really need social media to know that. I can just look outside and just look how the people act, because those are the people that are on social media too. So I'll never not have a dose of reality. It's always going to be there for me. But yeah, real women and the BHTs, real women are amazing, phenomenal people, and I love them ever so. Can't live without them, because these are the women that shape a lot of the women who shaped who I am. Being able to be raised by a lot of women, my aunties and aunts, and whoever else was involved that were women. Kudos and salute to y'all, because I love seeing real women like succeed. I want to see them do well, and I see them do well because they actually listen and they actually take accountability for themselves, and they actually want to grow and evolve. So that's exactly the type of women that I look for. That's the type of woman that you should want. You absolutely should want, guys. If you're listening in, you should absolutely want that type of woman. But here we are, in this very hypersexual era on social media. It's very much, it's soft porn. A lot of influencers who are women, it's a lot of soft porn, but there are men that are indulging in that as well. So I can't just single them out, but this is a topic for observing the women that I see, observing women in general. So I'm really not pointing out male stuff like that. It takes away from what I'm saying. So the thing is, soft porn is like a lot of women. They're just making content that is very much soft porn, hypersexual, just to drive views. Like, this is the new thing on IG, especially. Well, IG and TikTok. TikTok has a problem with that, and it's a very big problem when it's underage girls doing this. because they should not be indulging in anything that is not for their age group. Okay, no, they should not be doing that. But TikTok and IG, they're not very restrictive on anything when it comes to that. I mean, there's been some takedowns and stuff like that, but it's not really on a big enough scale to actually do any real impact. So it's still well and alive, just being done in a different form, just so that it slips in. And people are constantly still looking for any type of actual porn on the thing. And I mean, you could find these things. You could find these things. It could spring up on you too, especially if you have the right type of algorithm. It will spring up on you, and I've seen it spring up on me many times on TikTok and IG, and I'm so blowed as to why this is even allowed. And it's from accounts with 100,000 or more, and I guess I feel like if they're got that type of following, like they pretty much do whatever that they want, and IG does not care because, well, I guess they're getting paid off of that, or it just shows their viewership or whatever type of notoriety that comes from that. IG just pretty much soaks it in, and it's just terrible because I don't think that's how it should be. It's horrible. I don't want to see, like, the only thing that comes up uh on an app is just girls acting hypersexual. Like, where's y'all actually having fun? There's a difference between hypersexual and then actually might be doing sexual damages here and there, but not. It's too oversaturated. It's oversaturated with hypersexual content, and hypersexuality is observed as a form of trauma, childhood trauma, whatever trauma that you've been facing or are going through, and have not dealt with it properly, have not actually took the time to look into yourself and or to find out, to identify it, to accept it, and to find the better ways of healing from it. There's a lot of people, women, right now, because it's the women topic, who have not found themselves doing that at all, and it has negatively infected them because they're just pretty much doing what everybody else is doing. They're not setting their own examples. They're not trying to be better. They just want to keep doing that. They run away from pain. They're doing uh substance use, substance abuse, all of that, and just they're just following the crowd. They're not making their own well-informed decision on what they should do, and they're not really giving it any effort to get out of these horrible predicaments or anything like that. I think that they should be doing that, and it should be a real effort towards making themselves better, healing from all the past trauma and the hurt that they've been through, because a lot of that does stem from, a lot of the hypersexuality does stem from, you know, being traumatized, negatively traumatized through your experiences and through, seeing things on social media that rubs you the wrong way or that triggers you. And these can turn into really big problems when these things go unchecked. And a lot of these things are being unchecked because, people think social media is a game. It could be a way to connect and, to share experiences and to help each other grow. But nobody's really using it this nowadays because all they care about is being content creator. All they care about is shock value. All they care about is doing something unoriginal, doing something that's supposed to be intimate and sharing it with the world. They're supposed to be their body's supposed to be intimate. They're not taking care of their body. They're showing their body off to everybody in the world. Like, you don't know these people. They are strangers to you, but you want followers, you want likes, you want views, you want the attention, and the attention is not good for you. It's going to only show you that they want one thing. They see you as an object and you objectifying yourself. And there are a lot of women out there who are trying to minimize the damage that it can do, or trying to say that, oh, women can be this, can be all of it, and like, you can't have a cake and eat it too. Like, come on, man. Like, Like there's just no possible way you can't tell me the amount of times that is this has actually benefited women throughout history. Like come on man. You can't tell me because it just does not exist for real. You might be able to make up some anecdotal experience and say, "Oh, well this person did it." Well, they are not every woman. Every woman is not going through that most of the time. The way that they get well and better in life is facing the nonsense, moving away from it, detaching from it, and actually working on themselves to become better people, whether it's in their career, their family, their life, or their personals, whatever the case may be. Healing from the past trauma that they've endured has benefited them 100 million times more than just faking and being delusional about just thinking that these things aren't a real problem. Okay, hypersexuality is a real problem. And it's shown constantly on social media and shown on people who have no lives. Is women really these females really need to get it together. And unfortunately it doesn't seem like they want to get better, so they just want to continue just not going around each other. There's a lot of talk about body count. I've seen a lot of this, that, and the other about body count. Body count is very important. Okay. It may not, some people may, be superficial about it and, very surface level about it. And that's where a lot of women who try to like make it seem like it's not a bad thing or try to get turned off by it or try to get triggered by it, saying that it's not a bad thing, it's none of your business. It should be if you're sharing your body with somebody, your sexual history, because your body count immediately follows, immediately. It's just another word for sexual health, it's another word for sexual history. That's all that it is. So you just getting turned off by those two words together instead of saying what's your sexual health, your sexual history, talking about it's nobody's business, then you shouldn't. If you know you're going to have sex with somebody, then you should absolutely give up that information. Saying it's not their business, then why do you have any business trying to sleep with somebody? You're giving up your body. You must value your body. Your body is the most important thing. It is your health. It is your health is the number one thing in the world. No matter anything else, Instagram, it ain't Instagram, it ain't, it's not money, it's not cars, it's not jewelry, it's not shopping at Forever 21 or Pink or Telflar or anything like that. A Birkin, no, none of that. None of that matters. Your health comes first. And sexually, that is part of your health too. It makes who you are. And it also statistically, you are less likely to have a happier relationship, long-term relationship, marriage, and everything in between, the more body counts you have. This is just facts. Okay, and it's basically based on pair bonding, which is your cells are actually pretty much releasing all the great feelings at the time of orgasm. And that's supposed to be, sex is supposed to be a one-to-one person thing, okay, unless it's polygamy, and that's a whole nother subject. But sex is based on, is for life. There are certain methods that you can do to remove to cut people off from your life properly, but many women do not know how to do it. And if they do know how to do it, do they even try to do it, or do they feel like they have time for it? And most of the time I'd say no, because they don't actually do it for real. They put it on their sleeves. They put the hurt and the trauma that they experienced in one bad relationship on their shoulders, and they move on to the next. And then if they get into another bad relationship, it becomes a pattern and a cycle, and they just realize why they can't find nobody good for them, because they aren't taking the time to get rid of those traumas, to actually assess what has happened to them in previous relationships, and how it has affected them. It can also be a family matter to where they've seen their parents' relationship, if they've been raised by a single mother, single father, or if they had two loving parents, if they didn't have two loving parents, if they had any parents at all. It all comes back. There is you are who you are because of what you've experienced and what you've been through. And it is your job to actually get that stuff figured out and sorted out, and not just bring it on to somebody else who has to deal with your nasty attitude, who has to deal with your nasty behavior because you didn't take the time to actually love yourself. You didn't take the time to actually care for yourself. You didn't take the time to actually ask yourself what you really want and what you're actually looking for. You just made up some weird rules, expectations, and expected them to be followed when you don't actually follow them yourself. There's a lot of nonsense that goes on when I hear, oh, high value man, high value woman, this, that, and the other. And it's not the actual basis of a high value man, which is being respectful, being kind, being the type of a down to earth person that makes a marriage or a long term relationship last. Okay, these are the things that are always being twisted in some weird social media narrative, and people are running with it, and people are saying this and the other. These are the type of people that do not touch grass. These are the type of people who do not actually think for themselves. And you know, remember, I'm still on the topic of women, but these are the type of women who don't want to really, like I said in the beginning, they don't want to do the work. And it's very annoying to see that there's this many women out there who really do not care, who just think things are a joke. And then, a lot of times they try to capitalize on their hate of men or whatever the case may be. No, you hate yourself. You really hate yourself at the end of the day because you just don't pick better. You're stuck in a cycle and you don't want to even try to pick better. You don't even want to remove yourself from the environment, or you don't want to actually take the time to look at within yourself, assess your own problems, see what you need to do to get the actual relationship and the life that you want. It's really bad out here because there's a lot more. It's been oversaturated, especially social media has been oversaturated with the BHTs. It's been way oversaturated with the BHTs, and we don't really want that. We don't want to see that. That's why I like to change my algorithm. I have balance between all of them, but I like seeing real women more because they're actually out here. Like, fellas, you just gotta get off social media because it's run by a lot of miserable people who like to be funny, who like to run away, who don't actually deal or face with their problems. They just run to social media and start barking and not doing anything groundbreaking, not doing anything groundbreaking for themselves. That's just what it is. And, you know, it doesn't seem to be getting any better. So, you just got to get off social media. And once they realize that it's boring without any of us here to entertain their foolishness, to get triggered or to react to whatever that they're saying, because they be saying some nasty stuff too. Okay, they say a lot of nasty stuff. It's just ridiculous. I don't think it makes sense how bad that it's gotten with social media and the nasty stuff that they say. Not freaky, but nasty, like the rude, absolutely out of pocket, absolutely gruesome and very triggering, offensive language that they use, and they mean it, and they're very horrible people. Honestly, they are horrible people. They don't want to do anything to help themselves, and you can see them from a mile away if you dealt with them long enough. If you can see them from a mile away, this is why I observe people. I don't really care to comment on much things. I just watch these people's reactions. I just see their thought patterns, and I just notice that we go by patterns. We notice a certain pattern with people, and a lot of people like to give excuses on and stuff like that. But I like notice patterns, and I just be like, you know what? Nah, no thanks. I don't want it. Don't want you. Definitely gonna look out for women like you because they definitely show up in real life too. But you just gotta. But it's really easy to to watch out for them, because they really aren't hard to find. They're really not hard to spot. These are the type of people that want to go up to the club every day, every weekend, whatever. It's like they don't got jobs, they're homeless, they're broke, they don't really care about themselves, they don't care about life, doing all the worst substance abuse that it's just is what it is. That's just what their world is to them, and they don't want to go into reality. They don't want to do the work. So it is what it is. But pretty much this topic is to explain the difference between real women and the BHTs. Hope that you actually understood what I was saying without me rambling off too much into other things. But they all come back together to this topic because I am talking about women. And when we talk about women, when we talk about people in general, it's going to go into relationships. It's going to go into experiences. It's going to go into, this is just how it is. Relationships are the foundations of society. Okay. So we're going to be covered, like relationships is always going to be covered. That's why and also another thing, before I end it, since relationships are like the trending topic especially for black men and women, it's just they don't under this is like there's a lot of the conversation is surface level, but this is what it is. It's the foundation of society. So them actually being able to talk about this, what they want and what they don't want, this is the start of it. It's been here for a couple now, but this is pretty much the start of it, because they didn't really have this type of platform before to say what they actually want. And if they're delusional, they're delusional. But a lot of the bitter women and men need to go have their own space somewhere else, away from the people who want real love. And I seen this quote talking about all the bitter black men and women should go somewhere in their own space or have their own app or whatever, and just be bitter and just talk it out to each other there. And then all the real black men and women who actually want real love, kids, marriage, a long-term relationship, whatever the case may be, healthy sustainable relationships, let us all mingle with each other, because nobody wants to deal with the type of nonsense that they deal with. It's oversaturated with them on social media, and a little bit in real life. Yeah, in real life too. Not really as oversaturated, but it's definitely showing in parts. As I can see, as I observe. But yeah, that's just to say, relationships are going to be talked about from now to the end of time, honestly, because that's what builds society. We have relationships, personal, business, work, career related. I know they all sound the same. I know I'm using similar words with each other, but financial relationships, your relationship with your bank account. Where's your relationships are the foundation of society. So we just gotta find a way to dig deeper, instead of just the superficial conversations of what do you bring to the table, because that's already been done 1,000 times over. And some podcasters are just staying on that over and over and over, just repeating the same script over and over and over, like without getting actually deep, without actually getting into the root causes of these things. They're just stuck on, what do you bring to the table? What do you bring to the table? What do you bring to the table? Everybody just shut up and do the work, okay? Shut up and do the work. If you don't want to do the work, then there's a place for you somewhere in a bitter space, okay? Where y'all can be bitter all day long, arguing with each other about absolutely nothing, about things that don't really matter. And then that's just where y'all gonna be. And all the real ones out here are actually gonna be loving, growing, building families, building dynasties, make sure everything's good with their family, make sure everything's good in the community, in the world, society, making the world a better place for them, making the world more sustainable. That's just what we're gonna do. So just to end this topic, I love real women. BHTs, y'all can go on somewhere. I'm not really feeling y'all at all. Y'all cool sometimes, but not really. I observe y'all. I watch out for y'all. And I can do better without y'all, because that's where the real women are. So I love you, real women. BHTs. Ugh. But yeah. This is the King Moon TV podcast, and I'm out of here.